Hey everyone, Greg Mescall here. Thanks for joining us. Our latest episode of What's Good features my good friend and old coworker, Scott Stanford, currently WWE anchors, also work with CBS Sports HQ, hosts his own show, Scott and Suki. Scott, thanks so much for joining us here.
Oh, Greggy, listen, my career was just like it was kind of in a flat line until somebody took me to Wagner College for water polo, and then things just skyrocketed. My life just went from here to here, my friend.
Scott, I have you to thank for bringing water polo to the masses of New York City many years ago. You've always been up to cover a good story on my behalf, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you know what else? I'm just looking at myself on your camera here. I look like I'm sunburned, don't I?
I kind of figured maybe to stay in the know, you had invested in a new technology during this pandemic, a tanning bed, maybe some spray on tanner. We're all learning something new.
Hold on, Greggy. Let's see if we could fix the lighting a little bit. That's a little better. I got one of these ring lights like I think you have, and
Same.
it's all right. That's fine. That's fine. I'm handsome either way. What's the difference? How are you, bud?
That's what
Good
I
to
always
see
say.
you. Last time I saw you, you were just this young pup interning at UPN 9, and look at you now.
Here we are through the power of the internet, connected once again. Really
I love
appreciate you
it.
taking some time, my man.
You got it, bud.
Hey, so I want to jump in first with your work on WWE, and this is one of the pieces of sports entertainment that for fans has thankfully continued to go on during this pandemic, but obviously without fans in attendance. You're a longtime host for WWE. What's this been like as of late with no fans involved?
Well, I'll tell you what. At first, it was kind of weird, because the WWE, the product, just like you have shows at night, whether they're crime dramas, comedies. WWE is another one of those primetime shows in the mix, right? But WWE thrives off of the WWE universe, their audience, and the audience thrives off of the product. So when you're missing, obviously, the audience can't have, you just can't have the audience without wrestling, but you can't have wrestling without the audience. So at first it was kind of weird because it was just kind of quiet. You had no reaction. I think it was weird for the superstars and the performers until they realized, you really, now you're performing for the cameras instead of the audience. But I think, I got used to it. I think most audience folks watching at home have gotten used to it. But I think once it comes back and we're clear to have in-arena audiences again, that are not going to Tulsa for any presidential rallies, but the real in-arena audiences, I think it's going to be dynamic when those audiences come back to WWE. It's going to be like an explosion of excitement. So I'm looking forward to that. But I thank God. I thank Vince McMahon next for keeping the WWE product going and keeping us all very busy throughout this entire thing.
You mentioned the audience for WWE, and it's hard to think of a more passionate fan base about something. And I was curious how that experience has gone for you. I remember when you started with the WWE and seeing your social media following go up and seeing the interactions go up and then people seeing you in person. What is that experience like? Once you're on air with WWE, you're not exactly a wrestler, but you are part of that mix.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, because as you know, in my other stuff, we're covering the athletes and the superstars and the celebrities. When you work for WWE as part of their on-air, talent roster, obviously the superstars are up here. The announcers are a step below, but the fans, they look at you as almost like a rock star, and I think they appreciate how few jobs there are on camera with a company like WWE. So I think they appreciate that you were one of those people that was able to accomplish that. And just, being there for 11 years now, it still amazes me when people come up to me, they want to take a picture, they want my autograph. And I'm like, me? You want an autograph so it's still, because to me, I'm just, I'm some schlub walking around a mall with his daughters, Claire's picking out earrings. When people come up to you and they see you, and it really, you forget what you do for a living at that time. And people come up, they remind you, and it's the WWE audience, the fans, like you said, they're really passionate, and they treat you like a rock star. And it always boggles my mind every time they'll send me a little Topps baseball card with my picture on. Hey, can you sign it and send it back? And still to this day, it can't help but make your head explode. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can only imagine. It is such a fun environment to be at those events.
Yeah.
I've been at Monday Night Raws and Summer Slams in the past, and there's so much excitement behind that. You've been in the studio position as of late. You've also had the experience of being out at Monday Night Raw week after week. How collaborative are those events from your position, all the wrestlers, all the other staff? It seems like everyone really comes together to make what is a highly entertaining piece of content.
Yeah, listen, man, they're putting together 3, 2, 2. Let's see, the 3 plus 2 is 5. Add another 2, that's 7. They're putting together 7 hours of live programming a week. And WWE has one of the best production staffs I've ever seen, right down to the editors who are, putting together, these slick video packages. But yes, it is a highly collaborative effort between the writers, the superstars, right to the lighting guys, to the guys who put up the ring, to the makeup people, and it all, regardless of how chaotic it is backstage, and sometimes it gets real chaotic back there, it always comes together once the showtime hits, and it's phenomenal to be back there to watch it. As many times as I've been there, every week you show up and you're still like, man, I can't believe they get this done the way they do.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And like you said,
Yeah.
I'm sure fans are going to be so hyped to get back in the stands when they can watch this in person. In addition to WWE work, you talked about covering sports for a number of years, also worked with CBS Sports HQ. And out of wrestling, everything else is ground to a halt in early March. You've been in sports a long time. This has to be an unprecedented experience where you went from covering all these things to nothing.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think one of my last days during the time period back in March was when the Kobe helicopter crash happened. And I don't remember the exact date, right? It was either end of February, beginning of March, if I'm not mistaken.
I think, and all of our days are blurring together. I think that might have actually been like late January.
Was it late? Oh, you know what, Greggy? You're right. You're right. Hold on. I'm going to tell you real quick, just so we have it down. But yeah, because I remember being there when it happened. Yes, January 26th. You're right. I was on the set. It's 4:00. We're ready to do some updates. There was a golf tournament going on. And I remember in my ear, hey, Kobe just died in a helicopter crash, according to TMZ. And you're like, I'm sorry, who? It doesn't really hit you at first.
Yeah.
And then, February came around. The pandemic started kicking in and everybody was talking about it. And it was funny because I was actually doing a boxing show at the Yes Network, which is across the hall from CBS HQ. And literally an hour after we shot that boxing show, I got a call from the producer. Hey, they just shut down the studio. We're not doing the show. And from there on, everything just seemed to, sports ended, NBA ended, spring training ended. And listen, I don't think anybody who's alive right now has seen anything like this in their lifetime. And hopefully, it seems to be happening, but hopefully this thing doesn't spike up again to where we all have to go back into lockdown. But it certainly seems like we might be headed that way, Greggy Kid.
Yeah, it is. It is hard to say right now what's going to happen in the future. I think a lot of people are optimistic that we'll get fall sports like NFL, college football going, but we can't even get certain pro sports restarted right now. Baseball, NBA, as we're talking here in mid-June. So,
Yeah.
To be determined. You have stayed busy regardless, and it's interesting talking to a lot of athletes with this program. They can work out, they can try and train at home or go to a park, see where they can fit in. But when you're an on-air person, you're a reporter, you're a host, how do you stay fresh? You've been able to do that lately with your longtime morning partner from Pix 11 back in the day, Suki. You guys have a great show on Facebook Live and elsewhere that has really been fun to watch, and you've brought in a great number of guests.
Yeah, it's crazy because Suki and I started doing the show once a week, again, before the pandemic hit, from a studio. And I would throw it up online. And then once the pandemic hit and everybody was home, it was actually easier for us to do it Monday through Friday, 5 nights a week, because we're doing it like this. And everybody's, you just spark up your computer and here you are. And the best thing about it is, the celebrities and entertainers are all not doing anything right now. I mean, you can't imagine how many comedians, impressionists, musicians, magicians, illusionists, psychic mediums, Everybody, all these people that were working 5-6 nights a week in Vegas and New York and LA, it all came to a halt. So everybody's looking for something to do. So it became very easy for us to get a hold of celebrities and entertainers to come join us on the show. And I mean, we've had from George Lopez to Sinbad, Mary Lou Henner, David Wells, Nick Swisher, also, some great names. And it's just been the show. We try to stay away from politics and just make it good, fun, laughing, singing, jokes, hearing stories from the celebrities themselves. And if we could stay away from the politics and or the virus topic, that's like an escape. You can get that stuff anywhere all day long. The people who come to our show to watch it, which has really grown to, I think, in 3 months, we got like 25,000 followers. The folks who come to join us at night, they know they're going to get that nice, light entertainment. We'll do quizzes and fun interaction and trivia with celebrities. Suki never knows it, but I'll put her up against the celebrity in trivia contest. And it's been so much fun, Greg. And it almost turned into a job, because then every day I have this thing in my head where you got to get guests on the show. You got to get guests on the show. And thankfully enough, it's worked out great where we fill it. I try to make it like the Tonight Show, where you have a celebrity, then you have an entertainer. And it's just been, working this way with the boxes, whether it's Zoom or StreamYard, however we do it, magicians and comedians, I mean, these guys really appreciate, not only, getting back out there and getting some exposure, but it's also good practice for them for when they get back to doing things on stage or on cruise ships or wherever they're entertaining. So it's taken off far beyond my wildest imagination. And when it's all said and done, maybe we end up on a network somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Hey, if somebody wants to pick up the show, it sounds like there's some interest there.
If somebody wants to pick up the show, they're welcome to call us. We're always open to talking. I mean, listen, Ryan and Kelly, they're doing, we're better than Ryan and Kelly at this point, Greggy. Let's face facts, no?
It's interesting. You talk about the journey that you two have had. You were both together on the morning news on Pix 11, and now you're doing. Hopefully, the show gets picked up, right? But it's largely a labor of love right now. How do you describe the bond that you and Suki have? I mean, you don't do something like this 5 nights a week during a pandemic if you don't really enjoy being with that person.
Yeah, no, listen, we always had great chemistry. That's why we were always very good friends with each other, even when I was doing sports at night and she was on in the mornings. On my way to Mets opening day, I think it was 2016, I got a call from our management at Pix 11. They said, hey, starting Monday, you're going to do the morning show with Suki. Go in there, do your thing. I don't even think they expected it to be as good as it worked out to be, because it was becoming a very popular show. We were competing with Good Day New York every day. And then, in TV management, things change constantly. So I went back to sports. She ended up leaving. She ended up on Fox. She left Fox last summer, and we got together and started doing this again. And everybody always said, hey, the chemistry between you guys. And listen, isn't that really what makes a good TV show when you have two people, right? It doesn't matter what the content is, as long as the two people have chemistry and the folks at home believe that you guys are friends off the air, which Suki and I are, because we talk all the time. And that will translate into when you're doing interviews with celebrities and entertainers. I can't tell you, the thing that makes me feel the best, Greggy, is when I'll get an email after our show at night. Hey, man, that was really fun. Thanks for having me. Anytime you want me on again, because we treat the celebrities like regular people. We have fun with them. And listen, to me, there's no reason why we're not on somebody's TV station. But you never know, we just keep doing it. That's the advice I give to young people. And that's the advice older people give to me. Just keep doing what you're doing, put the content out there, and things, the hard work. Hopefully, I'm a firm believer when someone says hard work pays off, it doesn't always pay off, my friend. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. Hard work doesn't always pay off, especially in the broadcasting business. I could tell you that from experience. But if you don't put in the work at all, it's definitely not going to pay off. If you put it in, it's almost like asking that pretty girl. If you don't ask her out or ask her for a date, you're never going to get the date. The worst she could say is no. If you don't ask, you're not getting it. So, when your parents tell you, you could be anything you want to be, that's not true anymore. And hard work doesn't always pay off. So that's what I tell the high school and colleges class. Kids, hard work doesn't always pay off. So don't let them tell you any different.
With Scott Stanford about your future. Hard work may not pay off.
Yes. It won't always pay off. Trust me.
But you're someone that has worked hard, and I want to talk to you a bit about the idea of adversity. So many athletes in this time have had to figure out what to do now they're not playing their sport, or maybe the league they were in. If you were in the XFL or you were in AAF last year, or you were somewhere else, minor league baseball, you're not getting your chance anymore. You have conveniently placed some of your Emmy awards behind you, which I think is wonderful. It shows some of the great things.
What Emmys, Greg? What are you talking about? Emmys? Yeah, those are just 2 of the 7. I can't place them all down here. Some are upstairs, some are out, some are in my kids' rooms. It's just that they're spread around the house,
I totally understand. By
the way, kids winning Emmys won't get you anywhere in the broadcasting business either. So let me just put that out there.
Well, that was a little bit of my point, though, is that you've done some of these things that are award winning. But throughout your career, you've had to reinvent yourself, right? You were award-winning radio guy, then TV, then other TV networks, WWE, other TV. Where do you find that impetus to continue to get up and go and find the next thing and keep chipping away?
Yeah, well, listen, the one thing with me is that's all I can really do, Greg. I'm not equipped to do anything else. I can't be an accountant. I certainly, I flunked out of law school and medical school, pre-med. I can't be a landscaper. I can't fix things. So broadcasting is really that's the only thing I do. My wife yells at me all day. I can't even put things from the sink into the dishwasher. So, when I wake up every morning, when I go to bed at night, I'm constantly thinking about, and because of this, what we're doing right now makes so many more things possible. And everybody's starving for content right now. I'm constantly thinking, what can I do now? Should I do something with a game show? Can we take the Suki and Scott show and do something, an offshoot of that? Should I start interviewing sports celebrities and do a sports show? I'm just one of those guys who always felt that if you're a broadcaster, you can't pigeonhole yourself into one category, right? If you're a sports guy, you can't just be a sports guy anymore, because you'll see a lot of sports people move into news, or news people into sports, traffic people into sports, and so on and so forth. But I always said, if you're called upon to do anything, if I'm called to do a voiceover or a narration, or, hey, can you host this show for us? Can you do if you're a broadcaster, you really should be adept at doing everything. But I'll give the weather guys their own little thing, because I was never able to point at the green screen and get it to the right spot. But you should really be able to do, and again, that's another thing I'll tell young kids coming out of college who want to be broadcasters. You really have to be able to do everything, which then will make you more valuable to the people you're working for. And that's really, I love doing it. I love being on camera. I love being in a studio. It just makes you forget about all the other crap that's going on and all the bills that you have to pay. And it's almost, I was never a big alcohol drinking guy. I never really did drugs, unless you take college out of the mix. But, being on air, that's like a drug for me. And it gives me this high to be in front of people, or to be in front of a camera. And that's what drives me to do it. And the good thing is I'm not playing a sport. So, it doesn't matter how old I get, I could still do whatever I need to do, as long as my throat works and I have a voice. You may get uglier as you get older, case in point, but you could still do the work. And in this business, it's increasingly harder for guys like me, even with all my experience, to get new work, because everybody wants younger. Everybody thinks younger. But to me, that's not even the case. To me, people, 40 and above are the people who are watching this stuff. You know what I mean? Below 40 into your 30s, into your 20s, you're talking, TikToks and all this other digital stuff. To me, the advertisers really should be reaching the folks who really have the disposable income, and that's the folks who are really, I'll call it 30 and above. But it's just, as far as what drives me, it's just doing this. It's fun for me. I love it. I could sit here and talk to you all day. I could read scripts all day. I could do voiceovers all day. I can interview celebrities all day. The minute the camera goes off, you're like, all right, well, what do you want to do now? I got to go pay my electric bill. Okay, see ya. But it's just fun. And I know the old phrase, if you love what you do, you never spend a day working. And to me, none of this is work. I could stand in a studio for 12 hours, knocking out show after show. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And there are some people who complain that it's too much work, which to me, I'm like, do you realize what you do for a living? You're reading a teleprompter. You know that, right? But yeah, in this business, hard work may not always pay off, but you do have to keep reinventing yourself and be able to do, more than just one thing. You got to get yourself out of that mindset of, well, I'm a sports guy, or I'm just a news guy, or I'm just a host, or I'm just a sideline reporter. You have to, because you'll be called upon to do other things, and that's the time you got to be ready and confident to go and get it done.
We end our program with 3 questions, and I'll give them to you here, and then I'll start with the first. It's what is something you've done for yourself lately? What's something you've done for someone else lately? And then this will be an easy one for you. What's something that's made you laugh out loud that you really found funny? So we'll start first. What's something that you've done for you, Scott, to kind of maybe take care of yourself or help yourself?
Greggy, I got to tell you, the one thing I've done for myself is that I would have never have done if it wasn't for this pandemic. I sanded and painted my deck. I sanded and painted my garage. we redid our patio. I mean, I did more do-it-yourself stuff because I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So, it's kind of funny when I try to do it. But, just because you can't have people here really to do it, the thing I did for myself, and you know what, I'm going to put that in the thing I've done for other people category too, is really, I've got a lot of things done that I would have never have gotten done if we were working at the pace we were working. And the thing I've done for others is, I've been cooking dinner for my family almost every night. That never happens. And B, I'm giving everybody this show at night from 7:30 to 8:30 on Facebook Live to make them laugh and forget about what they're doing. Other than that, I'm on my couch with everybody else, just watching Netflix. So,
has your family seen enough of you? You're around more than ever. Are they ready for you to get back to what it is you do?
Oh, my wife can't wait to get rid. My wife gets so even when we eat, I can make dinner, do the dishes. She can't stay. If I make one bit of noise, Greggy, when I eat, I get a look. Like if something's too hot and you're like, you make a little noise with your. She looks at me like, get the hell out of the kitchen. You got to go back to work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But no, listen, I kind of have enjoyed the family. We've done a lot of stuff that you eat dinner together every night. That never happens. My daughter's home from college. We're sitting outside. I got a little fireplace pit. We're roasting marshmallows. So I kind of enjoy it. We're taking walks. You do things, but it has come to the point where, okay, we're ready to, we're ready. They canceled summer camp. So now my kid's home for the summer. So we went from being teachers to camp counselors now. But, and you got to get everything else in between. So it's just that the whole world's crazy, but I'm just trying, you take every day and hopefully things change for the better, man.
And then the last thing, what's something lately that really made you laugh out loud?
Something that made me laugh out loud, Dave Chappelle. I just got into Chappelle recently, and I started watching all of his Netflix specials.
Oh yeah,
that guy's he's a smart dude, a funny dude, and the way he lays things out, very intelligent. And he makes me laugh. I watched some of his stuff twice. And there's not a lot of comedians who could do that for me, where I'll sit downstairs by myself and just and laugh out loud. Listen, if you want to get away from some stuff and have some good laughs, Chappelle's got a bunch of Netflix specials that'll just make you pee your pants. It's really good. And Sebastian Maniscalco, my boy, I love that guy.
Both very, very funny. And Chappelle's Show, some of his old specials, The Killing Me Softly HBO special remains one of the all-time classics.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun
And
stuff, Scott.
I was going to say my last thing would be, and Russ Salzberg makes me laugh. Russ.
Of course, and he's yet to sign a Netflix deal, but fingers crossed. Before I let you go, Scott, one other funny thing, your show every night. How can people watch the Scott and Suki show? What's the best way to tune in?
We're on Facebook Live. We just changed to our summer hours as of last night. So we're going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday throughout the summer. Facebook Live, Suki and Scott show, 7:30. Usually go about an hour. And you'll see some great celebrity guests and entertainers. We have some guys who check in with some bits now and then, and it's just a lot of fun. It's on Facebook, Suki and Scott Show, SUKI and Scott. And it's just, if you ever get a chance to watch, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of viewer interaction too, so it works out well for the folks who are watching.
Excellent, Scott. Appreciate the time, and looking forward to watching the next show with you and Suki very soon.
Reggie, I love you, pal. You're all grown up, and I like that.